afternoon session. We started to discuss this event as long ago as January. The date was agreed in February, and now we suddenly seem to be in November, and it's upon us. We're also holding presentations this evening for explorers and network members who are achieving their Chief Scouts Platinum, Diamond or Queen Scouts Awards. And we have 104 recipients tonight. So this is absolutely fantastic achievement for Solihull. And I believe on top of that, there's about 10 people who were not able to make it. So that's fantastic, and we're looking forward to that event tonight for Explorer Leaders and Explorers Network. You will have been given a booklet on the way in, which we hope that you'll take away with you and enjoy. For those of you that have sent stories in, we thank you very much. And for those of you that we haven't managed to print, our apologies, but we are already talking about doing the second one. So we'll make sure that you're in that one if you haven't in today's. But hopefully you've managed to have a quick flick through that. It's been put together by Jason Wilkes, Explorer Scout Leader at Darwin. It's a fantastic booklet, and can we perhaps show our thanks to him in the usual way? You may have seen on the news that the BBC are asking people around the country to be part of Britain in a Day today. Anyone can video events that are happening today, upload them onto the Britiaininaday website, and potentially be part of the BBC documentary next year. Hence, you will see some videoing taking part. Those people that are standing up the front here have already been asked their permission, and they've all agreed to that. But if you don't wish to be part of that, in that you might be caught on the camera, you can speak to Michael or Katie myself at the end, then that's absolutely fine. And we'll make sure that we edit it out if needed. But hopefully we're going to be uploading that onto the Britiaininaday website, and you never know, you might be there for 5 seconds of it. In addition to that, Ninian is taking photographs of this afternoon's event, and hopefully they'll be available for uploading onto the website in the next week or so. That's the Solihull website. So to this afternoon's session. In a moment I'll be asking Wayne to come up and present his UK vision to us. Then I'll be passing over to Katie, our new County Commissioner, who will be presenting her UK vision in Solihull. And then we have 6 talks from different leaders in Solihull about activities over the last year or so, for you to just find out a little bit about what some of the groups have been doing. And finally, there'll be a question and answer session. Can I perhaps ask that you leave any questions until the end, and then there'll be opportunity to ask any questions at that time. We're aiming to finish about 4 o'clock. So thank you for coming. Enjoy the afternoon. And can I now introduce you to our guest speaker for the afternoon, UK's Chief Commissioner, Wayne Pitt.
Good afternoon, Solihull. Yeah, come on, you're going to have to do a little bit better than that. Come on, this is going to be a very long session if you don't a bit more enthusiastic. Before we get going here, let's just have a look at the DVD.
Thinking of scouting? Well, let's take a closer look.
Scouting is all about giving young people a chance to have an adventure, and I believe that all young people have that right to an adventure. This can be the first time at camp, first time away from home, or trying out a new adventure-based activity. Whatever it is, adventure is at the heart of what we do.
From up here, you get a great view of scouting. You can see that across more than 200 activities, almost every night of the week in almost every community in the UK, more than 400,000 young people are taking part in this scouting adventure. Quite simply, we're transforming the lives of communities, families and individuals. But to really see why we're growing at the fastest rate for decades, we need to take a much closer look. In Northern Ireland, incredible things have been happening that are helping to bring together previously divided communities.
As part of the ongoing
peace process and sort of part of the conflict resolution we have in the province. They won't realise that young people have a very important part to play in that.
So, a structured training programme for diversity has been set up for Scout leaders, enabling them to deliver programmes to young people that challenge perceptions, promote diversity and encourage equal opportunities, getting people talking, across communities, across social divides and even across borders.
We've turned this around, so hopefully young people today shouldn't make the same mistakes that we made.
And now to Stirling in Scotland, where a brand new beaver group made a huge difference to the local community.
Our cover project, which has been set up in Stirling in an area called the Rat Park, which is known as Black Pride.
On the first night of the project, Paula dropped her son off and decided to stay for the meeting. A year later, she's helping to run the group.
I think what makes a difference, and what I love, is the effect that this is having on the children, and you can just see it on their faces.
Only with the help of local volunteers are the area's children now offered a real chance to learn new skills and valuable lessons for life. Where next? Down in Hampshire, they're providing more ways for young people to help make the big decisions.
We realised that young people in Hampshire Scouting would benefit more if they had more input and more of a say into their Scouting experience.
The Hampshire Scout Youth Council has 54 members, all aged between 13 and 21, taking part in everything from residential conferences and workshops to speed dating breakfasts.
That makes me feel pretty good. It shows that even though I am some little slightly teenager, I can have my opinion heard.
Let's take a look at Wales, where the Go On Adopt project is transforming the lives of local elderly people.
The Go On Adopt project is quite a new project, and it started to help elderly people to get online and use the internet.
Supporting the wider community has always been a big part of Scouting.
What I've been doing with my Explorer unit is we've been going into retirement homes and teaching the elderly people there how to use programs such as Skype to actually contact their friends and family, which they have been isolated from previously.
And finally, up in rural Northumberland, the Leaders Farm project has brought us and the local school communities together, so that Scouting runs soon after the traditional school day.
It was realised that Scouting was needed in rural areas of Northumberland because there was a waiting list appearing for town groups in the area.
Volunteers like Helen have brought Scouting to a whole range of small communities which would otherwise be out of reach of the big city-based groups.
So now, we've got more children wanting to join Scouts, Cubs and Beavers, which means more leaders needed and more groups opening.
25 new leaders have stepped forward, allowing over 95 young people to move from the waiting lists and join the adventure. From up here you can see the countless ways we're changing lives for the better. In fact, all sorts of people are noticing the impact we're having around the country.
I made a documentary about the history of Scouting on its centenary, and I discovered that nearly everything I thought about Scouting was wrong. The more I found out about it, its history of engagement, the more I thought, well, this is exactly what we need now. Yes, the badges change and there's engagement with the modern world, but it is essentially about turning around the lives of young people by giving them experiences they wouldn't have and taking children to a place where they can be someone else. And that seems to me as good an idea now as it's ever been.
So now we've got a little closer to Scouting around the UK, here's a final message.
We've just seen a small number of Scouting's truly amazing everyday adventures taking place week in, week out across the UK. Activities making a real difference to the lives of our young people, changing the opportunities they have for their future. You and I know that this is only made possible by our volunteers. That's you. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you.
That particular DVD is available in three. It sounds like an advert for HMV or somebody, doesn't it, really? But that particular DVD is available in three versions. The one for internal audiences, which quite properly says thank you for what you do, for use in your annual general meetings and other gatherings of leaders. Two other versions. One which asks for your money, for you to use as a clip of Ian Hislop at the end, not me, asking for your money. And the third version has the last clip, is not me, but it's Bear asking you to give your time for Scouting, and intended for external audiences, both the latter two. Interesting, I was at, met some of you actually, when you were doing your mountaineering course at Havard, which I think was a couple of weeks ago. Just before that, I'd joined 500 Rotarians from the heart of England, which is your Rotary district, I think, who were at a conference in North Wales, annual convention. Showed them the volunteering DVD. It's interesting to look at the reaction on people's faces. Bearing in mind these are a generation, generally Rotarians, are a generation that remembers scouting very different from it is today, as we'll hear about. Very interesting to look at the reaction on their faces as they see the impact that we're having today. So anyway, thought that might set the scene for this afternoon. An opportunity for me to share with you the Association's vision for 2018, how we got there, and where we think it might go, and how we can work together to make it come reality. And then a session at the end of the day where I'm absolutely happy to answer any questions you have. And if I can't answer them, Katie will. No, seriously, we'll have an opportunity for you to test perhaps some of the stuff I'm going to share with you, and any other questions you may have. A really nice, polite boy, not destined to go very far, was how my teacher once described me to my parents. And you'll be pleased to know I won't ask you which bit of that you think the teacher might have got right or wrong, but I was luckier than most, because I was a scout. And for me, scouting offered me so much more that my formal education didn't. As a patrol leader, I was able to take a group of peers out on activities. I learnt about leadership. I learnt about helping other people. I learnt about a whole host of practical skills that my formal education, whilst important, simply didn't give me. And I'm certainly very happy to say that anything I've possibly been able to do with my life since is in large part due to scouting and the leaders, for me, that helped that become a possibility. We have lots of anecdotal stories. You'll all have your own, whether it's about your lives or it's about the lives of others that you've helped in your time as a scouter. Sadly, in the 21st century though, such anecdotal evidence isn't enough. And whilst that happens to be my story, and you have all of yours, we have some famous people, Ian Hislop, Richard Branson, that have all attributed somehow what scouting does. It's not enough. We need evidence. And to date, we've not been able to give that. Hopefully most of you, however, will now be aware that we finally have some unequivocal academic-based research by an independent company, public and corporate consultants, PASEC, very well regarded for their work, who have given us evidence that we believe, and we know from our initial discussions with funders, with government, with employers, they find very powerful about what scouting can do. Breaks down into three simple areas. It acknowledges that what we provide is an interrelated benefit to young people. It's about having fun, building good relationships, and taking part in activities